back to the Fuse UK. It's much appreciated as always. Today we've got a special guest on the show, one of the best female bare knuckle fighters in the world, ahead of a BKFC 41 clash against Christine Ferea. It's Miss Bec Rawlings, but now is it Bec Rodriguez now?
Yes, I'm recently married, so it's Rodriguez.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's things? Are you okay?
Yeah, really good. We just got into Denver, Colorado yesterday, so a little jet lagged, but other than that, I'm pretty good.
Oh, good. So, what was the hour difference between where you are now to back at home?
I think it's 13 hours different, I believe, something like that. Yeah, it's a day ahead in Australia right now, so went back in time.
That's mental. I was wondering if we could start, Bec, by talking about where your journey in combat sports began, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with us.
Well, I actually started training when I think I was 20, just turning 21 maybe. And I just got into it to get fit, just to try and lose weight after I had my eldest son, Bec. And I just signed up to like a cardio kickboxing class and just started doing that, and I really loved it. I loved hitting things, obviously. And when I was there, I saw an MMA class going on, and I saw them grappling and doing submissions and shit, and I was like, oh, I need to try that. So I got stuck into that, and then just never looked back, fell in love with it, and just I started training really hard, turning up every day, and my coaches obviously saw the interest that I had in it, and figured I could do pretty well. At that point, I had no idea you could even get paid to fight. I had no idea about the sport or anything. So it was a bit of a shock when they're like, do you want to fight? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I get to fight someone and not go to jail for it? Fuck yes, sign me up. And then they said, you can get paid. And I was like, even better. So, never looked back.
Class. So when you're growing up though, like in school and that, were you like feisty growing up, like fighting and that, or were you quiet?
No, I'm the youngest of 4 children, and then I've got 2 stepsisters on one side and 2 stepsisters and a brother on the other side. So, and I was the youngest of all of them. So I had to learn how to defend myself pretty quickly. My oldest brother, actually, he used to pay me and my sister, who's a year older than me, used to pay her to us to fight with all of his friends. They would basically have their little mini fight club, and they would circle up, and me and my sister would fight each other. And my poor sister, she's a lover, not a hater. She's not rough at all. And I used to beat the crap out of her, and obviously I'd win, and my brother would show me his hand, and he'd have a $2 coin or a 50-cent coin in his hand, and I would choose the 50-cent coin because it was bigger.
I remember that I used to do that myself. When you used to think the bigger the coin, the more it was there.
Silly.
So what was it like fighting in the UFC? That must have been a big achievement for yourself.
Yeah, it was awesome to get signed to the UFC. Now we were all fighting at that point. We were all fighting for Invicta. There were no women in the UFC, and Ronda Rousey obviously paved the way for us. And once she started fighting for the UFC, they showed interest in the rest of the divisions, and they basically signed the whole strawweight division from Invicta and put us in the Ultimate Fighter, and had us living with each other and fighting each other for 6 or 7 weeks or something. So that was a pretty cool experience. Fighting for the UFC is a huge promotion. Like, they're very well organized. They're a well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. They're very professional. The only thing that lacks still, I think, is fighter pay. We fight our asses off, train our asses off, and we don't really get compensated that well through the UFC. But other than that, obviously, it was a huge experience, huge opportunity for me to fight for them, and the experience that came along with it was awesome. I fought the best in the world and fought on the world stage, traveled the world, was able to, fight in 3 different countries, I think, for the UFC. So, it was an awesome experience. But I think, if they could change anything, it could be, compensate us a little bit better.
Yeah. So would you say you enjoyed your MMA career on a whole?
I did, actually. I liked fighting for Bellator. They're an amazing company. I really liked them. And Invicta was great as well. So overall I've had a great experience. You know, the sport has led me to where I am now. I'm able to fight in bare knuckle and boxing as well, you know, so it's been a great career, I think, for me. I couldn't imagine myself in an office. I couldn't imagine myself working a 9-to-5 job at all. So it's been great. And yeah, I had some ups and downs. It was a rough MMA career, but I think, you know, I definitely paved the way for Australian fighters, and, you know, put our name on the map before any real Australians had been signed and done much. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'll have to agree with that. Like, so I remember seeing you before Ebony Bridges and all the other fighters that you're seeing now.
Yeah. Like, I think, you know, I was one of the first girls to really get Australia on the map and prove that you don't have to be ugly to fight as well. You know, like back in the day when the fighters were pretty, they couldn't fight. And I think we've definitely changed that stereotype now. Ebony Bridges has definitely changed that stereotype. And yeah, we've proven that just because we have a pretty face doesn't mean we won't fuck you up. So it's been good.
All the girls though are like sort of taking a leaf out of your books, though, aren't they? It's all like it's sort of like the weigh-ins and that are building some of the fighters' careers now.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's good to get everyone engaged and have a personality. And Australians especially, we're very opinionated, I guess, and we've got loud mouths. So I think it's smart to kind of, you know, use our boisterous kind of personalities to get eyeballs on you, and we definitely know how to back up the talk. So it's definitely worked for me. It's working for Ebony and the rest of the girls in Australia that are doing so well.
Yeah, it definitely is. And where did the phone call come along for bare knuckle?
Actually, it was a day after I got released from the UFC. I don't normally check my inbox for my my athlete page on Facebook. Like, it's so full, it just overwhelms me. So I don't open it. But for some reason, I just decided to check my inbox, and there was a message in there saying, you know, we're having our first ever bare knuckle event since it's been allowed in 100-something years. We'd love you to be a part of it. And I've looked at it and I was like, well, bare knuckle boxing, that suits me down to a T. I love to box, and no gloves is practically like how we fight in MMA. So I was like, fuck yeah. Like, sign me up. And so I think it was almost fate. You know, I just got released from the UFC, and then I had another fight offer in my inbox that I never checked. So I'm just lucky I checked it.
And how did you find your debut against Garcia? Was it everything you expected it to be, or was there some part of it you thought, well, I didn't expect it to be like that?
It was actually insane. It was such a great experience. It was really nice. It was kind of like a fight with no pressure, I guess, because it was such an unknown sport and the first one back. And the fans were awesome. They were just as excited as us. And I feel like it just wasn't like the biggest bright lights as, you know, the UFC and the pressure that comes with that. So it was really a freeing kind of fight where I could just go out there and have fun. And it was great just to be able to worry about two hands and not being wrestled or kicked. So that was fun to me as well. But I think what I wasn't expecting was to feel my hands as much. When I collar tied Alma and I just started feeding her uppercuts, I think I landed 4 or 5, and then I felt my hand. I'm like, oh, that hurts. So I had to switch hands and feed her with the other one. So that was the only thing I guess was different that kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, well, of course it hurts. You're feeding someone's chin with punches, so it's bound to hurt you. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was cool to be the first ever woman to participate in a bare knuckle boxing fight on the world stage. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, no, it was cool to make history.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It can never be taken away from you, that, can it?
No, it can't. It's definitely in the history books, and the bare knuckle. The bare knuckle history, well, what is it called, Adrian? The Police Gazette Hall of Fame have my broken tooth from when I fought Cecilia Flores in Mexico. She hit me with an uppercut and snapped my tooth off. So they've got my actual broken tooth in the Hall of Fame. So that's pretty cool.
Crazy. And the beef with you and Bricks, I remember when the first fight, like, you just seemed to genuinely like dislike her.
Yes, look, I don't know what it is about girls in bare knuckle, but they just feel the need to talk shit. I'm like, I don't understand. Yes, we're fighting each other, but we don't have to hate each other. And yeah, she was just cocky and talk shit from the get-go. So it just, put a sour taste in my mouth, I guess. And she just still hasn't stopped. I think it's just in her DNA just to be a trashy cunt, to be honest. Like, she can't help herself.
And do you think you'll ever have the trilogy fight with Britain?
She's gone down to 115 now, so I doubt it. Look, I don't see any reason why I would fight her again. I don't believe she won the last fight. I beat her the first fight, and I don't want to fight someone that's just going to run away like a little bitch the whole fight and then spaz out for 20 seconds and then run again. That fight, if you could call it a fight, was not enjoyable to me. I left that event feeling like shit, and I don't want to feel like that. I want to, even if I win or if I lose, I want to leave that place knowing that I've fought my fucking ass off and had a mad fight, and I didn't feel like that way with her. She's just a nasty person and a little bitch, so no, I probably wouldn't fight her again. She needs me more than I need her.
Right, that's that question answered.
Yeah.
Ahead of that, you've got a massive fight coming up, BKFC 41, with arguably the best female fighter on the planet, the best out of male and female, one of the best fighters on the planet in bare knuckle. What's your thoughts on the event as a whole, with it being the biggest event they've ever done? And what's your thoughts on Christine as a fighter?
Yeah, this is going to be a huge event. The card is stacked with some really good fighters, so it's going to be a mad event. I think there's going to be some great fights on the card. As for Christine, I said in a previous interview, I think she's a great fighter. I actually rate her boxing very well. A lot of MMA fighters come in and they still kind of approach the fight with MMA kind of hand, whereas Christine has definitely adapted to the boxing style more, so which I like, and I think that feeds in more to my style as well. I think it's going to be a really technical fight. I don't think it's going to be, us swinging like windmills at each other and hoping one connects. There's going to be a tactical approach on both sides. So it really excites me, this kind of fight, because it's going to be like a chess game. And I think I'm going to win. Obviously, I think I'm going to get the better of her. I think I'm more technical. I think I'm a better boxer. She obviously has the power and kind of, I guess, the presence in there. She likes to be the aggressive one. She likes to be on the front foot, and I think that plays completely into my game. And it'll be interesting to see how she deals with me and what I have to bring, because I don't believe she's fought anyone of my caliber. The last person that she did fight that's in my range of skills was Helen Peralta, and Helen dropped her and beat her. So she hasn't really been tested since then. She's kind of been fed spazzes, if you ask me. They go out there and they throw with their eyes closed and hope for the best. Those kinds of fights are easy to deal with. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting fight, and I just definitely think I've got the technical advantage against her, and it'll be interesting to see what she does when I punch her in the face. And
have you had a good camp for this fight?
Yeah, I've had an amazing camp, actually. I'm just out here in Denver now, finishing the last week of sparring and the last finishing touches of the camp. But yeah, I'm very lucky in Australia. We have some great boxers in Australia. We have some great boxing coaches. Our striking in Australia is on top, on like the top of the world. Like we match everyone else. In MMA, it's a little bit harder to get the same kind of training and training partners, and the skill level's a little bit below for MMA, but for boxing, it's not like that. So, I've had a great camp, great coaches, great training partners and sparring partners, and I'm just excited to show off, how much I've improved since my last fight, and win this belt.
Great stuff. And what can we expect to see from you at BKFC 41?
You're going to expect, you'll see the same Bec out there, if you know what I mean, but I'm just a little bit more technical. I think my fight IQ has definitely gone up, and I've tidied up my style a lot. You're going to see a very technical boxer out there. I'm not going to go out there and be a meathead. You'll see me setting things up. You'll see me pulling her into traps, and you'll actually see a bit of more power on my shots as well. You know, I've been really working on getting my body behind all my punches and getting my body to work for me, not against me. And you know, I've got to give that up to my new coach, Freddie Capes. He's been a great addition. My husband Adrian has been my main coach, but Freddie Capes has come in and really helped both of us. And he's just really kind of sharpened my tools and given me a few more tools to my tool belt. So yeah, it's been a really good camp, and you'll see a good new improved Bec, but nothing too crazy. It's not going to be me going out there and doing Superman punches or anything stupid. Maybe doing little twirls and a kick or something. I don't know, but no. Yeah, it'll just be a sharpened, more precise Bec out there.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because it's going to be an amazing fight. The full event, like, it's just stacked with talent.
Yeah.
And I won't keep it too long, because I know you're busy. But before we wrap it up, is there any shout outs or sponsors, big ups you want to give a mention to?
Yeah, actually, I want to give a shout out to my two main sponsors. The first one is Deluxe Motorsport. They are an Australian company that do bodywork jobs, spray jobs on some really nice cars. They have hooked me up with an awesome car here in Denver, and they're always, you know, my number one supporter. Obviously, OnlyFans also are a sponsor, and I have my own OnlyFans as well, and you can find that at OnlyFans/RowdyBec, where you get to see exclusive content, and that's about it.
Great stuff, and I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can stay in touch and do some more work in the future, some more podcasts.
Yes, I'm keen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bec. Speak soon.
Thank you.
Bye. Yes, people, thank you for tuning in there. It's much appreciated as always. What a fight it's going to be. Bec Rawlings versus Christine Ferea, BKFC 41. Gee! What's going on? Bare knuckle is on a different level these days. I'm going to put all the links to Bec's social medias, OnlyFans, things like that. So make sure you go over there and check it out. But really appreciate everyone tuning in. Good night. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Lou Fuse is out.